I'm a CSU undergraduate student in the history department, interning with the Colorado State University Extension Office. Today I'm interviewing Wendy, who is a part of the 2020 Meeker Mustang Makeover. And to start, I just have a couple of background questions. What is your profession and what is your experience with horses?
I am an architect. My husband and I have an architectural firm in Hayden called Axial Arts. And I also do freelance writing for a couple of horse magazines, such as the NRHA Rainer magazine. And I grew up with horses in Snowmass. My family got horses when I was about 7, mostly because my mom had always been horse crazy. And then we just went from leasing a horse to 4-H. 4-H was a huge part of our life. I am a big believer in 4-H. I think it's pretty remarkable. And then we got into showing paint horses and showed on the world circuit and did that. And that was my dad, mom, and my younger sister and I. My dad didn't show, but he was really supportive. And so then I gradually got into reining, and now I show mostly in NRHA and starting to show in NRCHA classes.
Describe an experience you've had with horses where you've been particularly successful and proud of the work you've accomplished.
Definitely be the reiners, and we have a small breeding operation. We only have one broodmare, but I think she's pretty special, and we're actually still showing her. And it was rewarding to have a couple of her offspring that we raised and showed, and then there have been times where I've made the finals at the NRHA Futurity and the Derby, and that was really meaningful to me because it's tough to take a young horse like a 3-year-old and put that much on. I work with trainers, so I'm not saying that I train them myself, but it's pretty meaningful. And then the other thing we've done lately is we've been taking horses that we got off the kill lot or tried to get them before they got to the kill lot and put training into them and tried to make them horses that were good fits for other people. And that's been really rewarding to take horses that probably would have just gone down to Mexico and not had a great life, obviously, or even if they had gone on and been bought again, but they come really thin, and a lot of times they just look really bad, or they're sick, and it's tough, but it's rewarding to see how they make that change. And it's amazing. Some of the horses that we've got off the kill lots they're really nice horses. And I would say to people, I know not everybody wants to give their money to the kill buyers, but for me, I'd rather pull some out of that cycle and try to give them another chance than get hung up on that, I guess. I think the horse meat industry is such a international thing and a cultural thing that's going to continue whether we support the kill buyers or not. And but I would suggest to people, if they're interested in that, you definitely want to do your homework. But there's some really nice horses that just end up there for no fault of their own. It's just people need to sell things, or they got family problems or money problems. And so if anyone's interested in that, it might be something they would look into. It is really rewarding.
Definitely. So outside of working with horses, how have they impacted your life, and what have you learned from them?
How just a little bit of work every day, like when I have trained my own, that trying to get that 1% every day, before you know it, you're 100% better. So learning that, sometimes I get in a rush, and when I take my time and really listen to the individual horse, that's been really rewarding. And the other thing is obviously hard work. And I think for kids growing up, or even people, just putting in the time is really rewarding. And I think also learning, horses are such a mirror to what we are, and they really tell us kind of what's going on. And, if we've had a bad day or we're bringing something to that particular ride or interaction with the horses, they're pretty telling on us. Mm-hmm. And that's been a good thing. And then related to that, just having somewhere, when you're riding or you're working with a horse, I get to leave all that stuff behind. If you had a stressful day or you're really worried about things, when I'm riding, like that's all I focus on. And it's endeavor of always being better than I was the day before. And that really lets me just quiet my mind and clear it from all the other stuff that was happening during the day before.
What are your future goals with horses?
I'd like to keep trying to bring young horses along and show NRHA and the Futurity and Derby horses. And I'm really trying to up my skills in the cow horse. We have a really nice mare that's really cowy, and we're working with a trainer to develop her skills, Andy Kurtz up here in Steamboat, and that's been so much fun. So I'm hoping to, it's been a challenge, and so I'd like to go to the World Show with her and start out in the boxing and the AQHA and the cow horse events, and then eventually work to going down the fence with her. So that's a big goal of mine right now.
So what has been your favorite part of training a Mustang so far?
Yeah, the challenge. I think I got a really nice one. It took a long time. She was really worried and had a big bubble as far as what she was comfortable with. So we did a lot of I did a lot of round pen work for 2 weeks. I couldn't get the halter on her for 2 weeks. And finally, when I felt like she wasn't gonna like run through the fence or do anything like that, we roped her, and then I got the halter on like 10 minutes after that, just because she had been dealt with. But so that was rewarding. And then just seeing how she started to really come into her own. To me, and this horse in particular, it's all about her confidence, being confident in me. She's never been mean, or she's just a total sweetheart, and she's going to be a really nice horse when she's finished. She just, she's always looking, as you might expect with a wild horse. Her ears are always going, and she's always taking in everything around her, which is pretty cool to watch. It's different than like the show horses that we've been breeding this lineage for so many years, and that's been really fun to work with. And once we started riding her, that first time I got on her was just like, it felt really good.
So what do you hope to accomplish by participating in the Meeker Mustang Makeover?
I want to help develop a horse that is confident and safe and enjoys her job and makes a really nice horse for whoever gets her next. I'm going to tell you for sure, I'm getting kind of attached to her. And I've had help with Andy Kurtz and his assistant trainer, Alec Nelson. They will get on every once in a while and tell me what they're feeling, or they had her for a while when I was out of town for a few days. And they really like her too, which is kind of neat because,
What elements do you think are important to consider with regards to wild horses?
I think a couple things. When we got her, they're coming from a really different atmosphere, and so we quarantined her for a while. I don't think she would have had anything, but I didn't know if any of ours had something that she might get. I didn't know. And so I think also their diet is something to really think about before you start throwing a bunch of rich food to them. Really think about, finding out what they were on. And, some of those horses were pulled off the land not that long ago. I don't know that mine was. Mine was really in good shape. She was in really good shape physically. And I think that's important to think about, is just their physical thing. And then the other thing obviously is their mental, and taking the time, just getting to know them and being patient. And for me, as a non-pro amateur, what I really appreciate is that they allowed us, or they were very encouraging about us working with other people and having teamwork. And so I felt comfortable working with other trainers and getting help, which was really great. And I think that really will help her too, because if the other ones are like mine, I think they could really get hooked up to just one person, which is good in the beginning. But when we run them through the sale and then they go to their new person, I think it will be really beneficial if several other people have ridden them too, and they learn that, having different people is okay, and they can trust different people. So if I let go of my ego about just doing it all myself, I think working with other people and having other people on her also is really valuable.
Thank you for chatting with me, and good luck with the rest of your training, and I look forward to seeing the results in September.
Yeah, thanks a lot.